everybody. Thanks for listening. I'm Jenny. I'm a life coach. And today I'm talking about how our environment affects our power as empaths. So, how you define home is one thing that's really important. Home is a place where you should feel comfortable to be yourself and to create. It's a place where your nervous system should feel safe. So, having a home where your nervous system feels safe is really important for having more energy and feeling more powerful. Another thing, um, another environmental thing that has a lot of impact on our energy levels is having nature nearby. That can be, outside, that can be inside, but having lots of access to nature. Orienting to nature is known to help heal trauma, which most empaths as well as humans have. So, getting sunlight on your skin, especially your eyelids, getting your feet into the earth, um, just nature sounds helps regulate our nervous systems and ground us. I mentioned in another video how dirt is actually an antidepressant. Negative ions are another thing that we get from nature. These are really common around fast moving water, like waves, waterfalls. Um, there are these molecules in the air that increase serotonin, and they help with depression, stress, and fatigue. So, the way I think about finding negative ion rich environments is to think about places where nature transcends form, liminal spaces where one element collides with another one. So, waterfalls, waves, that's water colliding with air. Um, and the other thing about nature is that nature just accepts you the way you are, right? In the woods, alone, no one's judging you for how you look, what you have to say, how you act, right? Nature just accepts all of us exactly the way um, that we are. I love bringing plants inside and other natural elements, crystals, rocks, feathers, um, anything that you can bring inside your home um, that's nature based can also really help you feel more at peace, which will help you feel more powerful because your nervous system will be calmer. The calmer your nervous system is, the more energy and power you're going to have for other things. Okay. Um, Honoring nature is really important, but it's important to do this without guilt and shame energy attached to it, right? Like it's easy to feel guilty and ashamed that we don't recycle enough or we should be composting more. Okay, so find ways to honor nature that don't feel like shoulds and it don't feel like guilting or shaming your way into it. One cool way to honor nature is to just recognize the seasons. So the solstices, the equinoxes, um, there's, pagan religions who recognize the quarter seasons as well, the marks in between the solstices and equinoxes. But it's a really good way to just focus on the seasons, the changes that are happening outside, because we live in a world now where it's really easy to miss all those changes. What's blooming, what birds are migrating, all of these kinds of things. Um, with the solstices and the equinoxes, unlike traditional holidays, they're all equally spaced out, and they all have seasonal symbolism attached to them. So it just helps you to stop and pause and recognize what season and what's coming, what's leaving. It gets you more in tune with nature. I also think seasonal depression is normal, and we need to honor that winter is a time to slow down. And our society doesn't really do that, right? Like, look at the trees outside. They're resting, they're losing their leaves, they're going dormant, and people yet are not allowed in our modern society to do that. So I think some level of seasonal depression is normal. We're supposed to slow down this time of year. And our modern society doesn't always allow for that. But if you feel more tired and less motivated, that's okay. That's a normal thing. This time of year, we're supposed to go inward. We're supposed to reflect. We're supposed to rest. Um, when you give to the earth, she gives back to you. So giving back to the earth is things like planting native plants instead of invasive or non-native plants. Um, you know, composting, recycling, without shame and guilt attached to it. When you give back to the earth, things tend to come back to you in mysterious and magical ways. Okay. The people you're around is also really important. You are the average of the people that you spend the most time with. Okay. So if you're with people who, don't respect women, even if you respect women, that's still going to rub off on you a little bit. Okay. If you're around people who do drugs all the time, even if you're not doing drugs all the time, that's still going to rub off on you a little bit. We're empaths. We have big porous energy fields and we absorb other people's energy. So it's really important to very carefully cultivate the type of people that you're spending time with. Look for people who value you, who are trustworthy, who do not take you for granted, and the rest will take care of itself. Okay. So be intentional about the people whose energy you're absorbing because it's going to happen. If you're an empath, the people you're around, you're automatically going to absorb some of their energy. Many mental health issues disappear when you change who's around. Okay. There's people with depression, people with anxiety, but we're not considering that their environment is causing these things. And so when you change your environment, when you change, where you're living, the type of people you're around, many of those issues tend to go away. Okay. In animal behavior, there's a term called environmental enrichment. And this is when you have captive animals like pets or like zoo animals, and you have to provide them with environmental enrichment that would mimic their natural habitat because they don't have an appropriate outlet for it. Okay, so animals in captivity need novel stimuli to replace their lost wild experiences. But the thing is, humans need that also. Okay, our environments are very manufactured at this point. And so humans also need environmental enrichment. We're supposed to be living in tribal communities where art, music, dance are all just normal, organic ingredients of daily life. You don't have to go to dance class to get it, right? You don't have to go to music class to get it. It's all just happening organically. It's not fractured into special rooms or scheduled classes. And so empaths' inability to adapt to modern culture is not because we're crazy. It's because we're paying attention. We are supposed to be in walkable towns where we're getting our exercise organically. We're supposed to be in close-knit communities where we're getting socializing organically, childcare organically, and social interaction is also a human need. Lots of empaths are introverts because we're trying to protect our energy fields, but social interaction is still an important human need. Pets can be a good substitute for this, but it's still good to have at least a few good humans in your life too. Another way to mimic a natural environment is to make sure you're getting enough sunlight. If you live above the 37th parallel, you're probably going to want to supplement your diet with extra vitamin D to compensate for a lack of sunlight. Having full spectrum lighting in your house is also important. Lights with a Kelvin around 3000 or a color rendering index around 100. You want lighting that mimics natural sunlight. You don't want harsh lighting or the wrong color lighting. At night, you want to leave off the bright lights, use more dim lighting, right? You want to kind of mimic the lighting that's outside. And as windows have become more energy efficient, they also let in less sound from the outside. So we're not getting nature sounds inside our homes as much as we used to. So if it's a nice day, think about opening your windows, listen to the birds, hear the wind blowing in the trees. Moonlight. Most people are not getting moonlight anymore. We also have a lot of light pollution, which doesn't help. But all of nature moves in cycles with the moon. It would be naive to think humans do not. Women who aren't on hormones actually often sync up with the moon, especially in areas with lower light pollution. Lowering your thermostat at night is another good way to mimic nature because it gets colder at night. Firelight. I think, this is my own theory, is why red light therapy is becoming so popular right now, is because we're using it to replace firelight. And the most diverse environments, the most biologically diverse environments in nature are the healthiest ones. So think about how you can add biodiversity to your space. Have, animal pictures and symbolism, birds, fish, reptiles, amphibians. It could be feathers, it could be turtle shells, amphibians, insects, spiders, crustaceans, plants, mushrooms, crystals, rocks, antlers. Just think about how to add biodiversity or symbols of biodiversity to your home. Different animals, lots of different animals, but they don't have to be live ones. Decluttering your space makes room, literally and figuratively, for new things to come in. It creates a vacuum for new good things to come into your life. Creating altars is a good way to focus your intentions. But every time you see your altar, you're going to be reminded of the things you're trying to manifest. It's a good way to hone your intentions and what you want to focus on during any window of time. Think about incorporating elements into your home: earth, air, fire, water. So that could be candles, it could be fountains, wooden furniture, lots of plants. And feng shui also focuses on this. In addition to, the reptile brain, it kind of thinks about the reptile brain in terms of, you kind of want a clear view of your door. You don't want to have your back facing any doors because it might not be logical, but your reptile brain is not going to feel safe if you can't see who's coming. And so feng shui really looks at the reptile brain and it says, okay, I need a clear view to make sure that I am safe at all times. And subconsciously, your reptile brain is still there, still doing its thing. So arranging your furniture so you have a clear view of doors, so your back isn't to any doors. And then there's a book called Joyful that's all about how to bring more happiness into your space, how to use your space to invoke more happiness and joy. And so I'm going to go through a couple of the points from that book. We're talking about themes and how to introduce those themes. So one theme is renewal, seasonal things, seasonal flowers, spiral symbols, sunrises, sunsets, any activities where you're using seasonal ingredients. Another one is surprise. So you can have areas of high contrast, like a drawer with really bright inside, painted inside color. Anything that's hide and reveal, secret little nooks, secret little hidden treasures, abundance. So having lots and plenty of things, kaleidoscopic patterns, rainbows, polka dots, stripes, confetti, all invoke a feeling of abundance, patterned textures, harmony. So synchronicity, symmetry, geometric patterns, grouping objects together. Play would be circles, spheres, waves, polka dots, balls, balloons, hula hoops. Okay. Freedom, wildness, expansion, swings, slides, hammocks, natural objects, wildflowers, nature patterns. Energy, neon colors, yellow, sunlight, full spectrum lighting. Transcendence, which is rising above, airy colors, sky-like gradients, lightweight furniture, delicate furniture, things that are hanging from the ceiling like lights, translucent materials, skylights, high ceilings, vertical lines, bubbles, magic, luminous, luminous colors, prismatic colors, iridescent things, wind chimes, rain chains, holographic things. And the last one is celebration. Sparkles, glitter, string lights, disco balls, pinatas, sparklers. Okay, so these are all ways to bring more joy and happiness into your home. I'm going to go through just the main themes one more time. So renewal, symbols of renewal, surprise, abundance, harmony, play, freedom, energy, transcendence, magic, and celebration. And it's important to pick things that you already like and already feel good to you. If you're not into sparkles, don't put sparkly things all over your house, okay? But think about those words and what would symbolize those things to you. Okay. So that's everything I have for environment. Your homework is to look at your scope of control. So I want you to write all of your problems down, make a whole list of all your problems, and then I want you to circle what you have control over. And you might need to break it out. One problem might have some things you can control and some things that you can't. That's fine. But start with a list of all your problems and then break it out into what you have control over and what you don't. That's everything I have for today. If you want more information, check out the links in the description. Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.